We are on. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Topic 1 is improvement or investment. Property.
Property.
What if they've invested in the right property in the first place for a B&B?
Well, it's a good start.
Yeah.
In the right location, and hopefully, and
if not?
Well, if not, then you may have to sell the property.
Yeah.
And, depending on if they're doing any business or not, whether they can actually sell it just for the property value, or can they sell it as a business and a property?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things why we have those circles where we have the business and the property in separate circles.
Yeah.
Because you can take the business out of the property, and you still got value and equity in the property itself.
That's right.
Or you can add the business to it and say, I have a $500,000 house and a $200,000 business attached to it, right?
Yeah. And if the property's in a good location and doing a good business, they probably do have a business that they can sell. But if it's in a bad location and they're not doing any business, they probably don't have any business to sell. Yeah,
and I guess the other side it could be that you could have picked a lousy piece of property, just like a bad investment in the house itself or the building, property itself, building. But you can run a great B&B out of it. So it could have been a really good B&B, even though it's not a great house. Right?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And therefore you could sell not the property, but the business is where the value is.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. You may have had to adapt the place to do a good B&B business. That's another issue. I mean.
Yeah, we talked about that because the histories we both have with B&Bs is 2 or 3 I know is one where they made hardly any changes, just rather than putting bedding in the rooms, and it was a nice ideal property for a B&B. Right. 3 big bedrooms, big lounge, nice sitting, separate suite, right? Yeah. The other ones I know is where they've invested thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to put in jacuzzis and hot tubs and decks and landscaping to make it the ideal B&B in the wrong place. Yeah. And it took them 3 years to find out that this is a beautiful B&B property now, but there's no B&B business.
Yeah, so spending that money didn't help their business.
And when it was sold, both the properties I know were both sold as private houses.
Yeah. Too bad, in a way.
Yeah.
The improvements that I did to this place, so generally speaking, I think have helped me get more business by separating the upstairs with a separate entrance. You can rent it separately or as part of the B&B. By adding bathrooms, because it was a heritage house, so we were restricted initially to have 1 bathroom. Now we have about 5. And so most of the things we've done here have improved the business.
I think there's that line between, are you improving the property? Like, we need a new staircase, we need new toilets, we need new driveways, right? Because that improves the property. Yeah. Which is like property maintenance. Or you can improve the property by putting a brand new fence around it, or a new wall, take an old wooden fence down, put a wall up. That improves the property and makes it maybe more resellable, which is equity in the property. Yeah. But improvements to the property could also be improvements to the business.
Right. In my case, most of them have been improvements to the business.
Yeah.
I mean, my terraces out there might improve the value of the property, but don't make 1 iota to the business. Yeah. Whereas my staircase up to the upstairs makes a big change in the business.
So that's what we're saying is people can consider or should consider whether it's an improvement to the property or an improvement to the business. Right. Meaning, if it improves the property, it might have a long-term equity appreciation. Right. So the value is when you sell the property. Right. But an improvement to the property for business will improve your bottom line, your cash flow, your income.
Yeah, I think what happens to people is they put the money in the property not thinking it is going to improve the business, and it doesn't because they haven't really thought out the improvements to actually help the business. Yeah. They just decided they wanted a nice new rockery like you talked about.
And that's why we have those 3 circles, or 4 circles, which is property cannot be considered in the B&B separate from the business.
That's right.
And if you're thinking business, then the goal of the business is to make money.
That's right.
And any improvement should make more money.
That's right. Make more money, otherwise you shouldn't be doing it.
Or provide a better service, which keeps your clients happy or coming back. Right? Yeah. But if it's just an improvement to the property, and the one we use as an example is the wife that wanted a rose garden and a rockery with wrought iron trellises for the climbing roses, thousands of dollars, months to put in, right? And when it was finished, you're like, well, we've got great photographs now of the B&B, but nobody was going to come because it had a rockery.
No.
They're coming because of the bed, the price, the interior, the location.
Yeah.
And it might have tipped the balance if one didn't have a rockery and one did, and one didn't have roses and one did. But if it's a $35 difference in price,
you go for the $35.
Most people probably go for the $35. Or
Yeah.
if the room's beautiful rockery, but lousy beds.
Yeah,
Right?
lousy beds or lousy breakfast or bad location and so on. They wouldn't give a hoot about the rose garden.
But a lot of time and effort and energy went into the rose garden, and that's what we say about the investment on improvement.
Yep.
Some investments are improvements, but they improve the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to keep
that might have improved the relationship.
To keep the spouse happy
Yeah.
and keep her living there and smiling and enjoying her off season, and what does she do in the afternoon when she's done all the cooking and all the cleaning?
Yeah.
She goes and
work
sits
in
in
the
the rockery.
rose garden.
Goes and work in the rose garden.
Yeah, right.
So we can't separate our relationship from property, from business,
and if that was an investment to save the marriage, then it probably was a good investment regardless of whether it helped the business or not.
Which we can jump to. We know that if you make a poor investment in the relationship,
that's right,
and that one of the either spouse is mad, and that affects the business.
That's right.
Or you want a rose garden, but I'm not going to clean up the gutters.
That's right.
Or not weed the driveway. Then it's the whole thing is entangled, right?
That's right.
And the last thing we want, because we know the most dangerous things with the B&B is bankruptcy, which is business. Divorce, which is a relationship, or maintenance of the property. So if there's no business coming in, no matter how lovely the property is or how strong the relationship is, you're going to have to do something.
That's right.
And then again, we know B&B owners that have jobs outside the B&B, husband or wife work, or both, to maintain the lifestyle of the property by the ocean.
That's right.
But really, the ideal thing is to have enough business coming from the B&B, so that
if that's all you want to do. Sure. That again depends a lot on your location. If you're in the middle of nowhere, then you probably need some other form of income because nobody wants to go to a B&B necessarily in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and the scary thing for me, which is where we jump to my side of it too, in another conversation, is if you have a bad year or halfway through a bad year, you can't do much to market that rooms now.
No.
Right? It's like you had a bad year last year, then what we're going to do this year, right? And you go, well, we'll put new beds in, we'll put new bedding, we'll put a rockery in, we'll put a hot tub in. Go, all well and good, but if nobody shows up the next year, your investment is even worse. It's now a waste of money, right? And it might make your business, the property, not the business, harder to sell.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah.
But some things are basic, like decent beds and a good breakfast and so on, and nice clean bathrooms and so on are sort of basic things that you need regardless. Yeah,
I think what we're talking about here is the standard of the B&B, standard of the property and the business must be at a certain standard.
Yeah.
But then we add on to that quality.
Yeah.
The quality of the bedding you put on, the thread count, makes a difference.
Yeah, depending on if you're trying to get a top dollar instead of
if you're charging $200 a night for
if you're charging 200 instead of 100, then you better have a high thread count and fancy this and fancy that.
Yeah, whatever the breakfast is, breakfast.
You better have a pretty fancy breakfast. You better have the best mattresses and so on. And people are looking for higher standards all the time, even at the bottom range. So that's the other thing. You have to have pretty high standards, even if you're only charging $89 or $99 a night.
Yeah,
which is too bad, I think, but that's the way it is. Yeah,
the idea of just having the kids' bedroom in the basement that you could rent for $70
those days are over.
Gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Especially in the B&B world, right?
Yeah.
People that just put too much emphasis on travel and the effort it takes to get somewhere. They want the experience.
And although there's still people doing that.
Okay.